about joy. What is bringing us joy? I think I'll go first. Does that sound okay?
Yes, please.
All right, so Teresa, do you remember that big sign that was on the gazebo of the town common, Hope?
Yes.
In 2020?
Yeah.
Do you remember how that really was awesome?
Sure.
In terms of helping us feel hopeful during a time of craziness?
It was a good reminder.
It was a great reminder. I just wanted to remember that for a moment as I'm thinking about what's happening today in Billerica.
Yeah.
So seeing Billerica building community for the betterment of all of Billerica gives me hope and joy.
Yeah.
So this last week, when people, there's some people who stood up to, in a nonpartisan way, to seek a petition for a recall of a select board member.
Yes, I heard about that.
I did hear about that as well. And I feel like it's such a good example of community and of hope and of how we can work together for the betterment of this town, and just remind people when people show up and speak up, real change comes.
Absolutely.
We need more hope and joy. We need more of that.
We do.
So keep doing it. That's my joy. It made me very joyful.
I love that it's almost perfectly in sync with what is bringing me hope and joy this week. So I don't know if you've heard, but Bernie Sanders and AOC and others have been doing this Stop Oligarchy Tour, where they are going to congressional districts that were just barely won by Trump.
Yep.
And they're having these huge
record-breaking rallies.
It's not an election year, right? It's
not midterms.
It's March.
It's 2 months into not even 60 days.
And so I want to show you a couple clips of what they've been up to and how Bernie is framing these conversations. And it's really just, it's
Bernie,
wonderful.
Bernie Sanders and AOC, the combo of them, just emulates. That's not the right word. It just brings joy.
Yeah, it brings a lot of joy. So check this out.
$8 an hour is what I'm worth. Family of four can't live that way.
The American people will not allow Donald Trump to create an oligarchy in America.
We are on our way to Catalina High School in Tucson for the Fight Oligarchy Tour with Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We saw them speak a couple of days ago, and it was completely packed. I mean, I've been to at least a dozen Bernie rallies, probably a lot more, since he started running in 2015. And the crowd is a lot different. People not coming out, for a specific candidate, per se. People coming out because they wanted to be a part of a movement that's fighting back. And it was really the kind of vibe and energy that I hadn't seen at a Democratic political event in quite some time. But I think his message really has caught on in a way, because the things that he's been talking about in terms of oligarchy for decades are now the things that are just kind of the text of American politics. I mean, you don't need a clearer example than Elon.
Now, some of you may remember what Abraham Lincoln said at Gettysburg. He said, you know what? We have a vision of a country where we're going to have a government of the people, by the people, for the people.
He's been talking about oligarchy forever. And, when we talked to him after the event, he was making the point, Trump is making the case for this now. The things that he has kind of trying to kind of get people to pay attention to now are just there.
Fire away.
Senator, you've been talking about oligarchy for years. Do people get...
Yeah, I have, as a matter of fact.
Do people get what you're talking about now in a way that...
I'm glad you asked that. I have been talking about it because I have seen this nation move more and more to an oligarchic form of society. But then Trump helped me immensely in educating the American people to what oligarchy is. And I did not see the kind of response that horrific, unprecedented attack on American democracy and on the needs of working people. I didn't see people responding effectively. There are about 15, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but about 15 congressional districts where Republicans won by small margins. And I said, you know what, let's pay those communities a visit. Musk and Trump saying to anybody, you defy us? Yeah, I know you were elected by the people. Forget that. I know you have constitutional rights. Forget it. We got the money. We got the power. You vote against us. You are out of here. And that's the kind of movement we have to build where we can stand up with. And frankly, that is not easy. I mean, we are taking on everybody. Taking on the oligarchs, taking on the Republican Party, taking on the Democratic leadership, taking on the corporate media, taking on Wall Street. It ain't easy. And change is not going to happen overnight. But I get deeply inspired, not only when I hear great leaders like Greg and Alexandria speaking the way they do, but seeing 20,000 working class people coming out here today and demanding change.
Now, this was supposed to be held in a gymnasium and ended up opening up the football stadium. I mean, they're just very unafraid. They're going to these frontline Republican districts, and they're coming here early, and they're coming here loud, and they're saying, like, you're fired.
In fact, one thing I love about Arizonans is that you all have shown that if a U.S. Senator isn't fighting hard enough for you in the Senate or elsewhere, you're not afraid to replace her with one who will and win.
So I've been to a lot of Bernie Sanders rallies, but none quite like that. His message has kind of now come into alignment with the political moment we're in. It's not just this is Bernie Sanders' ideological spiel. They want to take this feeling that people have about Trump and this new awareness of oligarchy and oligarchs and sort of concentrated power and translate that into kind of a newer direction for the Democratic Party.
And this right here was everything I needed. America, we're ready. Get ready, because we're here and we're not going anywhere.
Thank you for showing that and for sharing that. Awesome. Love it. Just wrapping up the show, want to remind everybody, what are we going to do? We're going to speak up,
Stand out.
kick ass.